Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It is Phil Brilliant, and this is Simply Brilliant for January 1st, 2026. Holy crap, how did that happen? Happy New Year, everybody. And I'm going to put on my glasses. And here we go. And I am joined today by my friend Dana Tormollan, who I've asked to join me today. And I will tell you, this is a pre-recorded program, and I'll drop it after we finish it. But I was unfortunately not at. I can't wear this. I was not at the council meeting today, which was the reorganization meeting of the Toms River Council, and Dana was. So I wanted to have the opportunity to talk to somebody who was in the room where it happened. I saw Hamilton on Tuesday, so it's a lot of Hamilton stuff still going through my mind. So sorry about that, Dana.
That's all right.
But no. So we want to hear again. Today was the swearing in of Ward 1, Robert Bianchini, Ward 2, Clinton Bradley, Ward 3, Harry Aber, and Ward 4, Councilman Ciccozzi was re-sworn in. And so let's talk about what was it like in the room? How did the swearing in go? And let's take it up to where the we had our first blip of Mayor Rodrick. So, how did the beginning go?
The beginning actually went quite well. All the newly elected council members were sworn in. The room, there was an air in the room of excitement, I would say. At least that was my perspective. A lot of friendly faces to the town, not just to the council members or, a certain group or whatever. But it was nice to see some familiar faces who we haven't seen in a long time show up at the meeting. You know, uh, Commissioner Ginny Haynes was there. Um, Paul Wennick, former mayor of Toms River, he was
Wow.
there. Um, Mohill was there. It was nice to see him as well. Jim Quinless was there. Quinless, I said it the right way.
Quinn
Um,
Lisk, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
um,
Jim.
yeah, Jim. It was nice. It was a good showing and a lot of support in the room. Families, friends. So yeah, it was good. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
Very good
I,
vibe.
I know that Councilman Lamb, who is no longer on council, he was out of town on vacation. Was Councilman Bill Byrne there?
Councilman Byrne was not there, and Councilwoman O'Toole was there via phone again.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was out of town and I was trying to listen, and the sound was really poor quality. I do thank you once again, and everybody who watched your live feed. You may want to go to film school, you know.
Yeah, that might be my new career.
But and hopefully, the council figures a way to get this fixed. I'm not quite sure. The December meeting, I got a open request back that basically said not available, and just not recorded. The
So I,
recording's not
I,
available.
I would like to actually speak on
Yeah.
that because
Okay.
it was brought to my attention today. Um, it was brought to me that there truly was a technical mistake, issue, whatever the situation may be. However, the IT department is working on getting um, parts of the meeting and basically splicing them all together so that they can put together a December meeting for the public to view, which I
Oh,
think is amazing. And they're looking for anybody who may have some of the footage from that meeting. Um, and I think that's amazing. I think that speaks volumes. And I did speak to the IT guys afterwards today, and it seems that there's an issue more so with the microphones on the dais. I know myself, there are a couple up there that don't work or don't work very well, where, um, you know, maybe some tune-ups, if you will, to get them to work a little better.
I
So
I would have
hopefully,
to assume I'd have to assume that microphones are cheaper than $40,000 in fireworks. So maybe we can get
yeah,
microphones. Yeah.
yeah, microphones at work would be great. Yeah, definitely.
Sorry about my
Definitely.
sarcasm. Yeah.
That's okay. No, I get it.
Um, I did notice also, and I don't remember, and maybe it just has blown my, left my mind at my old age. But the national anthem being,
Amazing.
it was amazing. It was a little loud online, so it got a little blurry. That we could
Yeah.
hear very clearly, though. But who was that?
I believe the woman's name was Faith. I could be mistaken. I don't know who she was. I think she did an amazing job. I think it was a fantastic way to start the year, to kind of fill the room with excitement. It because the national anthem I always feel like it gives a little bit of extra excitement. And it's New Year's, it's New Year's Day. Like, what better time or place to do that? So it was great. She did a wonderful job.
It was beautiful. I mean, again, it sounded great. I was like, national anthem. Wow, that's new. Maybe we'll do
Yeah,
this. It's just
yeah,
again, we have two new councilmen who are U.S. Army veterans.
yes.
And so maybe I was like, well, we'll do this every meeting. This will be very nice. Maybe it'll make people realize that they're there for a reason for the people. And so as it goes forward through the meeting, they'll go back to that national anthem and say, oh, you know what? I better show respect for both my position as an elected official and the people in the audience. But that didn't last much longer than the end of the national anthem.
No, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Today, we all woke up this morning with a thin white blanket of snow on the ground. And the sky turned out to be this beautiful blue color. Like, you ultimately couldn't ask for a more beautiful winter day. Again, the room seemed excited. It seemed positive when you walked in there. And again, the national anthem and the swearing in of these four council members, and then it all tragically goes downhill.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah. So before we go completely there, but everything seems so right. We
Yeah.
have a unanimous vote for Councilman Ciccozzi as council
Yeah.
president. We have a
Yes.
unanimous vote for Councilman Tom Nivison as vice president.
Yes.
Uh,
And congrats to both of them. I'm looking forward to what they, ooh, sorry about that.
okay.
Looking forward to what they have to bring to the table, hopefully control, decorum, um, and obviously respect. I mean, ultimately, the two of them have never been an issue when it's come to the respect aspect of our meetings. Um, but it was a nice side to see of both of them today.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be, I mean, it's a difficult challenge when, now you are the majority
Correct.
and you are, basically going to direct this town as the council does
Yes.
and work with the mayor.
Yes.
And, we immediately go from that to, I think if I remember correctly, before we got to the rules, they jumped into the police ordinance first, right? Wasn't it?
Well, I mean, he came in guns blazing, the mayor, if you will. No pun intended, being
Yeah.
the police ordinance, but he came in right away with the you're threatening to send us to jail, you're threatening this, you're threatening that. Well, we're gonna sue you. You can't do this, you can't do that. And the crazy part again, and I've said it since January 1st of 2024 at that reorganization meeting, and it was reiterated a couple of times today. This is a council meeting that we're sitting in. This is not the mayor's meeting.
Right.
So for him to come in screaming and yelling about something that he's speaking partially of, but only letting us hear what he wants us to hear, which we all know is his MO. And
Roger
not,
rules.
yeah, Rodrick rules, but to manipulate things and make it chaos right off the bat is so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
So let's talk. I made a mistake. Let's talk about the first chaos. So the first chaos is actually the renewal of the Ocean JIF contract.
Okay.
Okay. And and Councilman Nivison points out, because we don't see the resolution yet,
Correct.
that it's a 3-year agreement.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what they come out and say. And immediately the opportunity arises where the mayor wants to speak
Yes.
and Council President Ciccozzi turns the mic over to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to not be nice. They need to stay cordial, but they need to not give in to him because, again, not his meeting. And even as a councilman, he loved to scream over people and had no sense of control. He has no self-control, and that's a huge issue. Um, and it's scary that somebody so reactive and so hell-bent on spreading, we'll call them falsehoods, that that um that they are running a town, that they still have people that listen to them and believe them and do what they're told by them instead of doing the right things and reacting the right way. Listen, I love Dave. He is a wonderful man, but it's his meeting now. It's not Dan Rodrick's meeting. And there's a way to do it nicely.
And actually, I want to go back to this in a second, but I want to jump backwards for a second. So it's
Yeah,
interesting. So again, I'm watching the video because I wasn't around,
right.
and unless I missed it, we got a sense of what was going to happen early on because uh, Bianchini is sworn in,
Hmm.
Clinton Bradley is sworn in,
Hmm.
Harry Aber is sworn in,
Yes.
and at that point, Business Administrator Jonathan Solanas gets up out of his chair and takes a picture.
Correct. He only took a picture of Mr. Aber during his swearing in,
Yeah,
not the other three council members.
right. And then he sits down and so he's the business administrator of Toms River Township, and he's choosing to take pictures of one of the four. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
fast forwarding through the meeting to when it was the mayor's comments, the mayor only congratulated Mr. Aber. He
Yes,
did
he
not
did.
congratulate the other council members on their election. So we knew where this was going. It's just been proven right off the bat that we were not wrong.
Yeah. And again, that was a subtlety in the beginning that I was like, wow. Because I saw him stand up and go take the picture only when Aber was there. And I was like, maybe I missed him. Maybe he was somewhere else in the camera view, having
Right.
gone back and looked. No.
No. And I think I sent you a photo. I sent you a photo of all four of them,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have that. Okay. Let's go back to the Ocean JIF. Otherwise, we'll be here sometime until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so, Roderick gets the microphone and just starts spewing these numbers and spewing this $1.5 million savings and this, and it has to do with, you know, uh, political patronage and all this stuff. And, I hold and I give a lot of credit to all the council members, whether they were pro and con, they sat and listened.
Agreed.
Okay. Roderick finished, okay, and then and I got to ask a question, and I have not looked at this part yet. Councilman Nivison is
Hmm.
the first one to kind of go back at Mayor Roderick,
Okay.
and I believe Roderick says a derogatory statement to him about jail.
Oh,
Okay, we're gonna hold that.
I missed that. I did miss that. But
I
now I'm going
need
to
to
go
go.
back and watch.
I need to go back and watch, and he says something maybe under his breath, but the fact I wasn't in the room and I was on the recording, I got to go back and listen to that. Strike that from the record right now.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll go back to that one. But
Little hot mic.
yeah, yeah. So it comes up to the council, and the council, by a vote of 4-3, Lynn O'Toole in the air, it passes. It's a 3-year extension of the Ocean JIF. And, you know, was there anything in the room or anything from the council that may have been learned or gleaned as to their feelings on this or anything different?
I just Not anything specific other than they were not buying what he was selling. For whatever the reasons. I haven't spoken to any of them about that. Um, but no, there, no,
Yeah.
no. I don't know anything specific as far as.
Yeah. And let's make it clear, this is the special meeting that Dan Rodrick wants to have on the 30th of December.
Correct.
Can't get a quorum because he wants to get the change of the Ocean JIF to a different insurance, which is run by Fairview Insurance, is what we suspect, and the information we've been able to get. And Fairview Insurance is one of the largest funders to anything that's tied to Daniel Rodrick, including Citizens for Good Government, which is his PAC.
That is the most ironic name ever.
I know. Very funny. Very funny. Well, keep in mind, Roderick's mayoral is Save Tom's River.
Fair.
Yeah.
And
So
he's done nothing but destroy it. So I guess it's all opposite day with Dan Rodrick. So
yes,
yeah,
complete opposite day. So then
yeah.
after that, I'm glancing at the agenda that's on my phone, glancing at that. So then we jump into um, this ordinance on the police,
Hmm.
okay, which is not on the agenda. I don't know, and I don't remember if it was discussed, if it was, there was a couple of comments made relative to the agenda meeting, uh,
Okay.
but it's not there. And so I believe Councilman Bradley reads it. And, if I understand it, it basically is extending the promotion list
Hmm.
that expired technically yesterday
Correct.
for a period of time, which is, do you remember what it is? Is it 3 years, right? It
I know.
says here, failure to promote before the solicitor replied, the 3-year period applies absent good cause to extend it. So,
Okay, 3 years. Okay, sorry. There was a lot of time frames today.
right, right. Now in this situation, I don't think Roderick asked to speak. He just started speaking.
He did, and he spoke for Chief Mayor. He spoke and said that the chief didn't like it, and said why don't you let him speak? And I think the chief is more than capable of speaking for himself if and when he thinks it's appropriate. I don't think he needs Dan Rodrick to decide the timing when it works best for him. Um, and the fact of the matter was, it was another twisted situation that he tried to manipulate because ultimately this forces him to do things the right way as far as the police department goes. And I I for one think that you need to let the police themselves when it comes to doing their jobs. The inner workings of the department is not for a failed middle school teacher who can't even run a classroom to go in and take this well-oiled machine. And listen, every department, every business, everything has its own issues here, there, and everywhere. But you don't get to dive in and try to force people to do things your way because he's clearly made it worse. He's done nothing right with our police department,
Yeah.
and it's getting worse. And like I said when I spoke today, I think I sent you the picture of the 1951
Yeah.
Dover Township Police Department. And there you have 10 men in a town with what, maybe 10,000 people at
Right.
that point? And now we're down twice that many officers in a town with almost 100,000
Almost
people.
100,000. Yeah.
So nothing nothing that he's done to that police department has benefited them or the township of Toms River. It's made them more vulnerable. They cannot do their jobs the way that they should be able to do their jobs because they don't have the manpower to do it. They can't be effective and efficient or safe. Their safety is at risk.
And let's not forget too, I mean, two things. One is, that July 28th meeting in 2025 where they changed how we hire, how we promote, and everything like that.
Right.
Really made Rodrick, the failed school teacher,
Hmm.
Jonathan Solanas, the Minecraft expert and weekend DJ, in charge of all hiring of the Toms River Police Department.
Yeah, and they took in applications and they took fees and they did whatever. And who'd they hire?
I've heard they've interviewed nobody. I've heard
I've
they're
heard they've
waiting to get,
interviewed nobody, so they clearly have not hired
I've not
anybody.
hired anybody. But let's also point out, and I think it's important, that Toms River in February and March of 2024, after Rodrick pushed through with his puppet council an ordinance to eliminate captain's positions, sergeant positions, lieutenant positions, and we got them to rescind that.
Correct.
So all of those positions are still in the code and still available to be filled. Whereas if we didn't do that back in 2024, his argument could be there's no open spaces
Yeah.
because he eliminated them. Well, they're still there. They're not
Yeah.
eliminated. So they
Yeah.
got to start backfilling them. And, of course, he comes out with an email yesterday or whatever it was,
Goodness.
and basically says, I'm gonna veto it.
And we all knew that was coming.
Yeah,
If that's his new way to take his ball and go home.
yeah.
You don't do what I want to do, well, I'm going to veto it. Well, that's not how you're going to run a town. I mean, he hasn't been running it this far. He's not here enough to run a town, and he sure as hell is not here enough to veto something because he has no idea as to what's going on in this town right now.
So with my 100,000 followers, okay, with my 100 followers, who are going to see this, seeing the council today,
Hmm.
if there's 5 votes on the second reading of that ordinance, he can't veto it. Is there anybody of the 3 who could possibly change their vote?
I would have said Mr. Coleman until today. He clearly was reading a script given to him by Mr. Rodrick. Um, because I feel like he's the most sensible of the bunch. Ms. O'Toole has made it very clear that she'll just say and do whatever Dan wants her to do.
Mr. Aber said it today in his public comment.
Mr. Aber said it months ago
Yeah.
after the primary that he would do and say whatever Dan needed him to do and say. And then he reiterated that today. That's
The
not
same
his
the
job.
same July 28th meeting, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not his job. Your job as a council person is not to sit up there and vote how the mayor wants you to vote. It doesn't matter who the mayor is, who the council person is. That's not your job. Your job is to do what the people who voted for you have asked you to do, or what is in their best interest, or the town's best interest, not to appease some guy who's bullying you. And ultimately, it's schoolyard bullying that he is doing to grown adults, and that's sad. That's a terrible thing that these people are so weak that they allow this man, and I use the term loosely, to bully them. What does he have on them? What hold on them does he have that they can't speak for themselves?
Well, I think he preys upon people who, for lack of a better term, have nothing else going. Coleman retired, time in his hands. Honestly, I still believe he should be spending some more time at home, and not putting up with the BS that he's had to put up with. Lynn O'Toole, we know where her allegiance stands, and that's, in a recliner, I didn't say it. And Aber's already showed his colors as to where we're going to go. I thought it was interesting, and it came very evident at the consent agenda. I'm going to go back to the rules, but the consent agenda aspect, that Councilwoman O'Toole pulled out items, said she wanted a roll call, and when it came to roll call, Coleman was the one who made the statements. She did not. I don't know if you picked up on that. So the one being Q, which is the zoning board,
Correct.
she called it out. Coleman made the statements that the people who are being appointed are, what was the
We
terminology?
we we we're we're in favor of continuous building or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And again, as I stated in my comments, that as a zoning board, those are not what we deal with. We deal with change of uses, we deal with bulk variances, we deal with swimming pools
Pools,
and
pools.
fences and decks and all of that kind of stuff. So there's nothing in Mr. Coleman's statement which was valid. And like I said today, he may want to go talk to the man who picks the planning board and who sits on the planning board with two of his cohorts in crime and discuss what all has been approved. He may want to go talk to his stepson because his stepson approves that stuff. Not me, not the zoning board. And I'm sorry, but to make those types of accusations in this climate in this town right now is really despicable. And I'm really upset that he did that because I've always been very courteous to him and very kind. And I thought we had a good rapport. And I thought at the December meeting, he may have been turning a corner. But today, he just kept reading right from every script that was handed to him. And that's very disappointing.
Yeah. And I know we're bouncing around a little bit, but I want to stay on this for a second. So
Yeah.
let's put what you said in perspective. So he makes it clear in his statement that he ran on a platform not to support development.
Correct.
Okay. Now this is a zoning board,
Mm-hmm.
and the zoning board, really is about nonconformance.
Correct.
When the square peg doesn't fit into
In
the
the round
round
hole.
hole,
Yeah.
you come to the zoning board. Easiest
Correct.
way to say it.
Correct.
In December, and let me take, so then with the planning board, which is what the mayor gets to appoint to,
Right.
okay,
Which he sits on when he
which he
wants.
sits on, controls the master plan of the city, of the town,
Mm-hmm.
um, controls, how development occurs in the town, okay,
Right.
as long as it's a conforming use.
Correct.
Okay. Last month, we have the debate, quote unquote, over affordable housing,
Yes.
where we know now there's about 900 units of housing going to be built in Toms River. When that's signed off on, they have until like March 15th or something like that.
Right.
But it's interesting, every one of those 168 affordable housing units, which equal 900 overall units,
Right.
in the approval, it says has to go to zoning board because they're not conforming uses in those zones.
Correct.
So it's kind of an interesting situation where
Well,
he's
you're
saying
kicking the can down the road at that point.
kicking it down the road, and he says, I ran on a platform of not supporting development. He voted last month to support development in Toms River, which his mayor stood up and yelled and screamed at everybody to support it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he came out and said, oh, even though I said no building before, now we're going to have building. And all of that ends up back in the zoning board, which they just argued today about people who are being appointed.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about things, and that one bothered me today.
It bothered me too, and again, that's one of those things where like I'm trying to record a video
Yeah.
so people can see and hear it. And again, not pointing fingers at anybody, not blaming anybody, things happen. But I didn't have an opportunity to write things down. And there were a couple of things along those lines that, like, after that comment was made, like, it definitely had my blood boiling because all I kept thinking was, you clearly have no idea of what the zoning board or the planning board do if these are the accusations that you're making about reappointing myself and appointing two new alternate members. And not for nothing, but anybody who's been at any of our meetings, or, seen a video, because on occasion there are videos, I have prided myself on the fact that I will listen to everything and everyone and hear what they have to say. I base my decisions based on what I've learned as a zoning board member, how the law works and our lupa and all of that. Like I take it seriously because these are things that, not so much a pool or a deck, but some of these bigger projects somewhere down the line, I don't want it coming back and kicking me in the ass
Right.
because I pissed somebody off, or they didn't, or they thought that I didn't vote fairly for whatever their reasons. I'm very cautious and careful about how I vote.
Yeah. And the other thing too is it's pretty clear when it comes to zoning,
Yes.
because there are rules, there's law, there's some things within your power you can approve
Right.
like that. And there's other things that, the variances, the setback, all these things,
Yes.
that, every time you approve a variance, you're setting a new precedence.
Yes. And there's rules there. Listen, there's
Right.
ordinances. I didn't write the ordinances on how far a shed has to be from a fence, or, how many parking spots have to be at in an apartment complex or a shopping center or anything like that. I'm doing my job by following those laws. They're laws, basically, and we have to follow the laws. So, there is time that we're there to make those slight changes if and when they are appropriate. We are not building, like I said, storage units and commercial buildings and all that stuff. That's not us. That's not what we do. That's a fallacy. And the fact that he said that today really annoyed me, and it struck a nerve. And I think it's very unfair of him, especially because we have had a good rapport between the two of us.
Again, I think they all had their marching orders as to what they were going to do. And so
Agreed.
now, let's go into the marching orders.
Okay.
So it is interesting. So the last part, and not the last part of the meeting, but of what I want to talk about, is the new rules and regulations of the council.
Okay.
And for the past 2 years, we watched Council President Coleman, basically come out as a big supporter of the public comment, and then 2 months in, trimmed out everything and anything you could do. And then we saw Council President Lamb when he did it in 2025, you know, um, trying to be nice. It was a heavy stick.
He had a lot of rules, and um sometimes there's the time and a place, and sometimes those meetings are a time and a place where rules are needed. However, there was no bend. It was his way or no way, and that's not always going to work either.
Yeah. So Councilman Coleman at the vote spends some time on talking about how he hasn't been told where to sit
Since kindergarten.
since he was in kindergarten.
In
Okay.
kindergarten.
And I didn't want to guess how many years ago that was, but let's say it was a long time ago. And that he can't believe that the rules and regulations say where he sits. Okay. So I'm holding in front of me. This is the rules. You have to take my word for it. It's right there. See it? Okay. That's the
It's
rules.
transparent. Yep.
That's the rules and regulations from today.
Okay.
Okay. And this is what I printed out from the Councilman Lamb's rules and regulations that were adopted on January, I think it's January 5th, January 7th, sorry, of 2025. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3 in Council President Lamb's rules and regulations. A council seating chart shall be established at the reorganization meeting and strictly adhered to unless otherwise changed by a majority vote of the full body of council. Here is January 1st, 2026. This is Council President Ciccozzi's rules. Number 3, same exact number. Council seating shall be established at the reorganization meeting and strictly adhered to unless otherwise changed by majority vote of the full body in council. Exact
So
words.
number 3 is exactly the same.
Exactly the same. So it's about a minute and 10 seconds, I think is what it was when I looked at it. So I'll give it 70 seconds of him complaining about being told where to sit. But yet it has been in the rules. I did not go back to look at his rules, but I guarantee they're there too.
It's just funny to me because, again, like when we're on the dais, we don't pick our seats. Like when we walk in, our name placards are where we sit. We don't
For the zoning board. For the zoning
Yes.
board.
Yes. We're basically in the same spots every time we have a meeting. The council, for as long as I can remember, for a year, it always seemed it went for a year, and then they change it up depending on who the council president was. But they go up there and they sit in the same seats
But,
every meeting.
and it's funny.
Why is this a problem now? Because it's written out and he never saw it before?
We will say though that last year, 2024, if we do remember during the year, Woman O'Toole moved from one side to the other because she didn't want to sit next to Councilman Quinlisk anymore.
I thought it was closer to the bathroom, but okay.
Yeah, I think that was it. But he also says in his speech that this rule is so restricting that he could tell people in the audience where to sit. I'm like, where's that? Yeah, let's move on. Okay. Yeah. There's a comment in here, and I don't want to spend too much more time because we're already going very long, but should the interruptions continue to disrupt the order of the meeting, the council president may take further action to include requesting the mayor to leave the meeting, censor the mayor by resolution, limiting the mayor to telephonic or virtual attendance of meetings, or barring the mayor from attending further meetings. Okay. So in Freudian slip, in Mayor Rodrick's words today, he says that he's basically being shut down. You're not going to hear from the mayor. We're going to file suit against the council, and we've already warned them. I think he says this when they're doing either it's in the voting for this or when he does his personal message at the end. And he's like, people need to hear from the mayor. And he uses these two words, transparency and accountability. Okay. Almost drove off 95 coming back. I mean, coming from him, transparency and accountability.
His accusations today towards the new council and what he thinks they're conspiring in backroom meetings or whatever is, again, because he's slightly delusional, he accused everybody else of every single thing that he has done and proven to have done, but it's all their fault. They're the ones doing things the wrong way. Well, that right there, that's what is it? Gaslighting. It's narcissism at its finest because they deflect everything, all their wrongdoings. They will never accept accountability. I thought the room was the chatter in the room at that point was amusing. It was amusing.
And again, I think this goes back to one of my pet peeves in work and life. I despise people who don't take responsibility for their actions.
Agreed.
And once again, he is deflecting what is truly his ownership and personal actions to somebody else. It's just
because, you know what, Phil, in all fairness, and I will say this because you just made me think of it. He has nothing to say.
Right.
He's got zero things that are intelligent to say in a room full of people ever. I mean, he can't hold a conversation at all. So he's literally taking everything that everybody has said about him and trying to flip it because those words get reactions from people who read them or speak them or hear them, and he's trying to use it in his favor. And at this point, we're going on 2 full years. It's not working.
It
He's
goes
losing. He's losing.
it goes back to
Yeah.
2017.
Uh,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
but that brings us to this, full circle moment because he says, where are we? This isn't America. This is un-American. You're going to throw people in jail. You're going to fine them. You're going to do all this stuff. Now, I will tell you, I tried to find, but I couldn't find it preparing. But if you flash back to the November meeting, okay, which
Okay.
is the meeting that Council President Lamb flips.
Yes.
And all of those changes to the code that Mayor Rodrick wanted do not get approved. And one of them was fining and penalizing people for, I don't remember if it was shouting out. I don't remember if it was for, leaving a meeting. It was for something. I'm going to find it and bring it back out again.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. But what is in this new rules relative to decorum is it says any individual causing repeated interruptions, disrupting the order of the meeting, and failing to follow directions of the council president or presiding officer may be in violation of 388-4, which is in the Toms River Code, and actually talks about peace and disorderly conduct is what it talks about. That's what it's under.
Okay.
Reference. And then, or violations of a New Jersey statute, which is consistent, may be subject to fines or penalties. By the way, may be subject to fines or
Right.
penalties as permitted by 388-5 violation. And what it says is it could be a $250 fine, minimum up to $1,000, and imprisonment not exceeding 90 days. Okay. Maybe. If you don't pay a parking ticket, you may have a higher fine. You may have imprisonment. Not many people I know of go to jail for not paying a parking ticket.
No,
But
$35 is not worth it.
yeah, it may happen. Okay.
Right.
He latches onto this. This is in the front page of the Asbury Park Press at 5:30 today. Toms River mayor threatens to sue council over new meeting rules and basically saying that they're going to get thrown in jail if they shout out. Okay. This is just this chaos and this ridiculous. And actually, Councilman Nivison says this is ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a set of rules, and you said in the event you violate the rules, this is what may happen.
And it would have to be extreme
Yeah.
for something like that to happen.
Right. You tell your kids you're going to take the garbage out on Tuesday night, and if you don't, you're not getting your allowance.
Right.
It's the way it was written. I will be shocked. They said they're filing suit. Okay. Peter Pasquarella, sorry, only has 8 days left.
Yes.
What's it, Jonathan Winters? What's his last name? The new attorney?
Oh, Penny.
Jonathan Penny, sorry, Winters. He's a comedian from when I was younger. Anyway.
Yeah, I knew the name, but I didn't know where you were going with that.
I guess he's going to pick it up. If they really file suit tomorrow, it's another waste of taxpayer dollars on a frivolous lawsuit that I hope any judge throws out.
So I don't know. The question was brought to my attention today, and I don't know the answer to it. But who will file the suit if that be the case? And then does the township attorney represent the council and the suing parties? And how? So you're suing yourselves, basically?
You're definitely above my pay grade. And since I'm not getting paid, that's pretty low. But I'm going to tell you, I would think that he can file a lawsuit on behalf of the town.
Okay.
against the council members,
Okay.
and force representation against them, is my guess. So,
Okay.
they may have to go hire counsel.
Our lawyers are going to need lawyers soon
Or
because
no,
because the way the lawsuits are going here, they're next on the chopping block, unfortunately.
yeah. And again, and that's all we do in this town is we pay for lawyers.
Yeah.
I should have really gone to law school. Okay, last part I want to touch upon, because as I'm watching this on the small screen of my phone, all I can flash back to is Animal House. When they're in the trial for the fraternity board, you know, after it realizes that the one guy, slept with Dean Wormer's wife, and all this stuff, and like, we're not going to put up with this anymore. We're out of here, and they all stand up and start walking out because Dan Rodrick says, "What are you going to do? Throw me in jail?" And he stands up, and Minecraft Solanas is following him, and you watch Coleman, Aber walk off the dais. And here, what does it say? Should a council member need to leave prior to the end of a meeting, the member shall notify the council president, and the clerk shall record the early departure. Was there any
I,
notification?
no, and I don't think that's too much to ask. That's just respect for your meeting, for your townspeople. That's a lot.
Again, it's one thing to say that your mayor doesn't want to listen to the public,
Correct.
which is a disgrace, and he, as the mayor, should be embarrassed.
I was embarrassed, and why should
Yeah,
I be embarrassed? But it's
yeah,
embarrassing. We had other people from other towns there. It's embarrassing.
yeah. But then you have the new councilman from Ward 3, who, by the way, nobody knows who the heck he is.
No.
He has officially said more words than Bill Byrne in one meeting. Okay. So we'll give him that. Okay. And we'll give him that. Probably could take me out in the hallway and, do some damage. He's a big guy,
The big dude.
but he gets up and walks out. And I thought it was great when Craig basically says, "I wanted to," not Craig, Carlos says,
Yes.
I wanted to talk to my new councilman, and he's not
Yeah.
even here. He walked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of the fact you should be censured for getting up and
Okay. Agreed.
I don't believe you should be fined. I don't believe you should be going to jail.
No, of course not.
But you and David said it. Chris Pollock said it from Jackson Township when he got up today. Eli, whose last name I can't remember, said it when he got up and said something today. Those seats are not owned by the people who are sitting in them. They are owned by the residents of Toms River, and these schmucks, putzes, whatever word you want to use, need to realize that they need to represent the people and listen to what they have to say. And if they get up and march out, they're marching out and turn their backs on 74,000 voters. And somebody said it today. With over 13,000 signatures, I think 13,500, okay?
Mhm.
This is not the Mohill gang and 13 people. This
No.
is not 20 people in a room conspiring against Dan Rodrick.
No.
This is almost more votes than he got when he was elected mayor.
Agreed.
And he will not stop and realize that, but the council people better realize it quickly.
Yes. He's going to put them in positions that they don't want to be in.
Yeah. And the fact that in the first meeting of the year, and you and I had a conversation quickly this afternoon, I was trying to think back and all the bullshit that's happened in the past 2 years. Okay. We had the one meeting where Justin went to recess because he wanted to go help somebody outside, a homeless person.
Right. Right.
Okay. And everyone left the dais, but they
Yes.
all came back.
Yes.
And I think that may have been the same meeting or not when everyone went to the closed session and David and Jim came back after they got yelled at. But, and then there was the meeting where Justin shut down Deacon Ted,
Yeah.
and that completely blew up. It went to recess. Everybody walked out.
Yes.
No matter what you want to say, when the minority of Ciccozzi, Quinlisk, and Nivison
Hmm.
were getting beaten up by the majority and Dan Rodrick, they never turned their backs on the residents and they never walked out of a meeting.
No. No.
And if this is what they think they're going to do for the next 4 years, again, Roderick won't be there 4 years, but everybody else
No.
could. We need better in Tom's River.
We do need better. We deserve better. All the people in Tom's River deserve better. How embarrassing for Harry Aber. And I really hope that he is embarrassed when he looks back at this and sees himself walk off the dais. How embarrassing for him on the first day that he just walks out. To me, that says one of two things. He didn't really want the job, but he did somebody a favor. Or two, he just really doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's there to keep his seat warm.
And like everybody else that Dan Roderick puts around him, they got sold a bag of goods and they quickly realized what they got sold. But only
Yep.
one person, Tom Nivison, was smart enough to say, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do what's right for this town.
Agreed. And what he's brought to the town of Tom's River since that it has been incredible. So much appreciation for him and the others.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see where we end up. I'm interested to see if this lawsuit drops tomorrow. I highly doubt it will, but probably since I'm talking about it, Dan Roderick usually does what I say not to do. So,
Opposite day.
opposite day, we'll see what happens. Other than that, I guess, closing comment question, the room, the comments, the people, the energy, even after that disgraceful movement.
So long story short, I don't know if you've seen the part of the meeting where Dan Rodrick makes comments about, oh, this room is full of your friends and family. That's why, whatever his nonsense was.
It, it's
There were
actually it's actually in the Asbury Park Press article. He says, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? These are your family and friends, Roderick says to the crowd. You are unfit, Tom, to Tom Nivison. He
Oh,
added
okay.
of his former running mate. Yeah.
So let's call it what it is. He's just pissed off because he has no friends or family sitting in that room ever. Ever. The ones that are his friends that are sitting in that room, he's either paying them a salary to be there, or they, for some reason or another, have agreed to sit by his side and do and say as he chooses for them to do. So if he was uncomfortable in that room today, which I really hope he was, because I'll tell you, once again, the energy in that room was fantastic.
Good.
And sorry you missed it. People were asking for you. I told them you were driving home from Connecticut, but
I'm
you had a great
touched.
New Year's. Yeah, you had a great New Year's Eve. But yeah, thank you for letting me do this. It's and go catch up on the rest of the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the rest of it. I do appreciate your time, Dana, and thank you to everybody who. This is the longest one I've ever done. It's an hour long, so hopefully you can tune out and come back in and everything like that. But this is Phil Brilliant, Simply Brilliant. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of some time off if you have it, and remember, Monday kids have to go back to school. So
Happy New Year.
happy New Year.